Hey, howdy, it's Coffee with Nanny. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but I do. So I'm going to keep doing it because it's my YouTube channel and I can do whatever I want. Well, within reason. You know what I mean. But here I am, ready to vlog with my nice little drinky poo and you. And what do I want to talk about today? I don't know. I got a couple of things. First of all, my hair. I did get it cut, so it doesn't look like a triangle so much anymore. I currently have it pinned up because it's a Monday holiday, and I'm gonna do some straightening in this room that I'm in, and the hair just makes me hot and gets in my way. I'm probably gonna go back to short hair again. I don't know. I've struggled with what actually makes me feel confident and what doesn't. I don't think I like the gray, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out, About to be 62, just trying to figure it out. And let's see what else. I've had a lovely weekend. Spent some time at my brother's house, got to hang out with my niece, who reminds me a little bit of myself, so I really enjoy being with her. She's a hoot, as well as my brother is just off the hook. Off the chain? Is it off the hook or off the chain? Who knows? But you know what I mean, right? So today I was inspired by something that I heard on social media. I was just, it's Monday and I'm off. So, and what is with me holding my coffee mug like that? Okay, I need to actually make a coffee mug that says Coffee with Nanny, don't I? I have a Cricut. I have all the things. I need to do it. Anyways, what was I going to say? Dang it. Oh, I know. Okay. Here we go. Doug and I had eaten breakfast and we were sitting on the couch just deciding what we were going to do for the day, and then started scrolling on social media, and I saw this. It's like mom chats and dad chats. They're that hysterical couple from Minnesota that are the freaking funniest people I've ever met. Like seen, because I've never met them, because they're strangers on social media. So he's like an attorney and she's a teacher. And anyways, they were telling a story about their kids and about one of their kids, like they write stories in the evening or something. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Or I read somewhere recently where his mom sat in the hall and read a story to her kids. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Although, my fantasy mind says, oh, that'd be so beautiful. But my kids, Adria would have enjoyed it, and James. Michael would have still probably been bouncing off the walls. I don't know. Maybe it would have worked. Who knows? Anyways, yes, my stories are all over the place. Welcome to the world with Janet, or Nanny. Yeah, welcome to the world with Nanny. And the thing is that my people get me, because this is how their brains operate as well. And by my people, I mean my family mostly, and any friends and any of you subscribers who are here for the show. So anyways, back to the story, back to the point. The point is that I was listening to them and they were talking about their son. She was talking about her son, and he was writing a story, and he mostly writes these stories that kind of match up with whatever little cartoony, bluey, some other one they named that I can't remember the name of. He'll write the stories that kind of match what they've seen on that episodes. And his sister, said to him, why don't you write your own story? And he said, I'm scared. I can't. I'm scared. Because the one time that I did write my own story, someone told me it was no good. And she surmised that it was one of the other siblings or whatever, I guess. And then this older sibling was like, well, no, you should do it because your story is important. It's important for us to hear your story, and your story will be the best. Your own story will be the best and better than copying someone else's story. And I'm telling you what, there was little tears coming out of Nanny's eyes. That really touched my heart. And even when I think about it now, it still kind of touched me because I became acutely aware that over the last several months, I have allowed something similar to happen to me. That were people, we had some feedback from folks about something else that we're doing, a podcast that my husband and I called Be Resilient. If you ever want to go onto Apple Music or all the podcast place and listen to it, shameless plug, it's pretty good, except we need more episodes. But I've lost my mojo, if you will, for these kind of creating the ideas around what we want to speak about. And that happened because we got some feedback, probably some solicited, some unsolicited feedback about our podcast, and then some about the YouTube channel. And it really, really hurt me. It was hurtful. And I don't think it was, what they said was not hurtful. And what they said was not even inaccurate. It was accurate. It was just the fact that I didn't feel, I think what happened is that I didn't feel seen or heard, because I've tried to be clear about this isn't some kind of ministry. This isn't have anything to do with, this didn't have anything to do with Heart Roots Resilience. Like, that's a separate part of who I am. Like, everything I do isn't just lumped into one big bowl. Like, this is me, just being me and expressing my creativity and leaving the legacy of myself, so that that in the future, those people that we haven't been able to live in the same city or state, in the same world, can know me, can understand me and know me, because I sit in front of a binder full of information about my ancestors, and I rely on that research and that what I can find in the archives of whatever to know about them. But I don't get to really know them or hear their voice or see their face. And that was kind of what I wanted this to be. And I wanted it to be about this channel and what I do here, to be about my creativity as well, because that is a part of who I am. And so when someone didn't connect to that or see that, someone that I expected to, I didn't feel seen or heard. And now this person, I never meant to any intentional harm to me, doesn't really know me that well, so doesn't know all those things about me and stuff, but it doesn't take away from my experience and how I felt that, and how I'm like, they didn't even listen to me. They don't know me. They don't have any reason to listen to me. But do you see how inside of me, those factors were not, when I was flooded with the emotions, the logic was impossible to connect or reach to, which is normal. That's how we're created. We can't have all this emotion and think clearly at the same time. That's why we try to process our emotions, so that we can think clearly. And like I said, in the moment, and my husband and I, Doug and I, have had chats about me feeling hurt. What about it hurt me? What was the intention of those people or that person? All those things, all that stuff. And so I've talked all the logistics out of it, but I don't think it was until today that I got down to the emotional part of it, the emotions that were actually blocking my creativity. Because once that happened, it was like the floodgates got jammed, or the dam got closed, and all this creativity that I was experiencing towards making videos, towards making podcasts, all that stuff just went away. And I've tried, like just talking about it. I've tried doing journaling, like things that I consider creative, like hence my tip to organize everything so I could find stuff to play with. I played with collage and junk journaling and all the things that I like to do and play around with. And none of that really brought me to the place I needed to be. Now, I did not try actual journaling or journaling my emotions. I have to be honest and say I didn't do that. But it probably would have helped a little bit sooner. But like I said, I'm listening to the story. It's hurting, breaking my heart. I'm crying. And I'm tapping into what's happening, that, oh, I didn't feel seen and heard in that moment. That is what hurt. That is why I felt like, oh, no one's seeing me or no one's hearing me, so I'm not sharing my story. It's bad. So I'm not, it must be so bad they can't even see me and hear me, so I'm not going to share it. Yeah, and how many of us does that happen to? How often does that happen to people? I'm sure it's frequent. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Obviously, I'm listening to a story about a little guy who had that same experience. A little guy under 9, somewhere between 7 and 9, who had that experience. Older sister comes along and says, hey, your story matters. You know, like, your stories matter. It's important, and you need to tell your real story and stuff. And, you know, oh my gosh, those people are so lucky. I mean, I think their kids are just doing what they have modeled for them, because if you know mom chats and dad chats and you see who they are and how they are and you hear these stories, then you kind of figure out, oh, well, that's what their parents have modeled for them. And they've created an environment of safety and taught their kids taught their kids how to be safe for one another, which is amazing. So, I said all that to say, when I have been going through what I've been going through the last couple of weeks, one of the things that I felt inauthentic. I felt like this one moment where I blocked myself off from my own story was kind of, I mean, I had the one video where I talked about that not every day is a good day. That was my story. That was me feeling free to share, but it was a huge struggle, very much so, a huge struggle. And I think more than in the past. I mean, it's always a struggle because I am so self-conscious. Like right now, I'm like criticizing every aspect of my hair, even though it's up. I can see all the craziness in the background. Parts and pieces of me organizing are going on back there. So that's all in my head because I feel so self-conscious about all those things and about, oh, is anybody gonna, the judgment. And here's what I found with myself in this place of, like, here I was thinking, like, this is my value, that I value people's stories, and I say all the time that your story matters. I tell that to people all the time, and I encourage people to share their story and all that, blah, 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 on and on. And it's like, oh, is this not really who I am? Oh, do I not really mean that? I started questioning who I am as a person. Like a piece of, because I think of that as a part of my identity. And I started questioning all that until today. Then I was like, okay, wait a minute, Crazy Town. Just because you have a brief moment in your life where you're not on par or on track, or, you know, like something happened and you're a little off kilter, does not mean that your whole identity has imploded. You just are struggling with something that is a part of you. That's all. It's just a blurb, albeit an important blurb, but it's just a blurb. It doesn't mean you're somebody you're not. It doesn't. Do you know what I'm saying? I think though that being raised in awe and coming up in the world and spending most of my life in religious or church type environments, that we're taught to question ourselves all the time. And we're not taught about the difference between our identity in Christ and having our own personal human identities. We have both, and we need both. We need to understand both, I guess is what I should say. And we're not given that as part of our foundation. We're told that we just have this identity in Christ, and that's all there is for us, and that's all that matters, and the rest doesn't matter. Well, that's doesn't match up with science, and science matches up with the way we were created. That is not how we were created. And so, but there's that conditioning in me to feel like if I have one misstep or I'm off balance in the slightest, then there must be something wrong. I need to course correct. I need to get on my knees, ask for forgiveness, fix it, get back to being this perfect person who every aspect of is lined up, and all those ideologies, if you will, all those ideas, all those conditionings that have been through the majority of my 60 plus years happening. But I'm in this place now where I'm about to reach 62, and I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. I'm just in a moment. This is like a moment, a brief moment of time of my entire life that something has me looking inward, and I need to take a look at it and see what's happening for me, see what's going on, and partner with myself in understanding myself and knowing what's happened. That I'm not in some major identity crisis, that, what's stumping me and what's preventing me from reaching my goals and going on in my life. So that is what this time is about. That's what this blog is about, I suppose. About sometimes you just need to slow down and say, hey, wait a minute, what's happening? I don't need to go to the altar. I don't need to go back to the drawing board. I still am me. I still 100 wholeheartedly believe in the truth that our stories matter and they have a supreme measure of value. They are what connects us to one another. They are what gives us belonging, a sense of belonging. When we share our humanness, our humanity, our stories with other people, then they are able to see that or sense that they belong here, that they're not from some other universe and we're plopped here, that they are humans who belong on the earth, just like the rest of us. We were created for connection. We were also created for to need this, to feel like we belong wherever we are. We need to feel loved, accepted, like we belong. We need to feel like we have value. These are part of our core needs as human beings. And we get those needs met by sharing our stories, by hearing one another's stories. And in those stories, we learn to understand and empathize and live together harmoniously. And I know that sounds really woo-woo, and maybe it is, but it is a truth that science can back, that I experience over and over again in my own life. So I am going to take the advice of a little 9-year-old to her younger brother. That is, your story has value, your story has meaning, and keep sharing your story. I'm going to take that advice, and I hope you will too. And I'm going to keep sharing, even if it's goofy, even if it sounds ridiculous, even if I make mistakes, even if I don't feel very confident in it and extremely self-conscious, I'm still going to do it because I have a goal. I have a goal to continue to do this, to do so many, a certain number of videos this year. And we're already 3 weeks in and I'm behind. So that's my goal, and I want to meet my goal. And I hope that even one sentence that I've said today helps you and makes you think about things in a different way. Because that is the point. That is my goal, that I share my story for you now, for my current subscribers, for future subscribers, and for my future family, friends, to have this lifelong legacy of who I was and who I am. Now, I also am going to share craft videos, I promise. It might be annoying, but I'm going to do it. So thank you for spending time with me. I hope you've lasted this long. If you have, please like and subscribe. And it's ta-ta for now. I'll see you next time on Coffee with Nanny.